Jose Venezio, Justin Mara, and for the Maple Leafs, the shortstop, number 1, Venezio.
Back to Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. Apologies for the technical difficulties, or not necessarily technical difficulties we had earlier, but we figured that conversation happening behind us, regardless of what language it was in, probably shouldn't have made it to air. But we are back now at Dominico Field. The Kitchener Panthers scoring 2 runs in the top of the first inning, and now it's Jose Venezio leading things off, hitting over 360 in his last 4 games and carrying a 4-game hitting streak as well, and Jacklin on the mound for the Kitchener Panthers tonight. Ball is inside to Venezio.
And we saw what happened on Sunday, Thomas, when Venezio can lead off an inning with a base hit or a walk or a hit by pitch, whatever it may be, the damage he can do just on his own speed. So if he can get on, he can really set up a perhaps Maple Leafs comeback here in the bottom of the first inning.
Here's a ball lined to center field, and that one's going to get down. Jose Venezio once again leads off the ball game. And watch out for his speed on first base. We saw last game on Sunday what he was able to do against the Guelph Royals, and he basically manufactured his own run in the top of the first.
Well, he stole second base, and then what happened was Claudio Custodial, the Guelph pitcher, tried doing a pickoff play of second base, and really he had him. He had him in a rundown, but the second baseman threw the ball over the third baseman's head, and the rest was history. So an opportunity here for the Maple Leafs to get back in this ball game. Perhaps it's Justin Morrow's bat, but if not, with Venezio's speed.
5 home runs on the season for Justin Mara. He's been swinging a great bat, and this Wednesday night, certainly a more friendly ballpark for home runs with the strong wind we had coming in from center field against Guelph, but now dead calm out there in the outfield, and Justin Mara will like that.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a 2-0 ball game to say the least. So if you're the Maple Leafs, just try to get a run here, a run there to get back in the ball game, and Zach Sloan has to start putting up zeros.
There goes Jose Venezio, and he's going to steal second base without a throw. It looked like they may have had a shot at him. He didn't get the best jump in the world, but the blazing speed gets him to second, and now there's a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Jacob Douglas, the pitcher for the Kitchener Panthers tonight, holding a 5.76 ERA, but gave up 9 runs against the Welland Jackfish in his last start. So those numbers not helping his ERA.
Douglas did have a game, though, here at Christie Pitts last month, and he did pitch well. And he's a guy that's not going to come in, dominate you with velocity. This is a lot different than what you saw on Sunday with Claudio Custodio. But Douglas does throw strikes. He has some nice movement on his pitches. So it's a matter of keeping the Panthers in this ball game like he did last month on also Wednesday evening as well. So we'll see, what he can do tonight.
Mara fouls it off left side. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on the power hitting catcher for the Maple Leafs. And Jacob Douglas, he will give up a lot of balls in play as well. Not necessarily all of them hard hit, but he's just struck out 11 batters in the 25 innings he's pitched this season. Mara hammers one to deep right field down the line, and it's going to end up in the corner and be a foul ball. Just short of home run distance and banged up against the base of the wall.
And you mentioned Douglas strikeout totals. I don't think he's going to get to what Claudio had on Sunday, where he had 18 strikeouts and 8 innings of innings pitched. So that was quite the performance. But at the same time, there's not many pitchers in the league that can do what Claudio did on Sunday.
17 strikeouts for Claudio Custodial. There goes Jose Venezio again. No throw down to third base. And once again, Jose Venezio, blazing speed, no throw on the stolen base, and now he's at third base with a 2-2 count.
One of the things I said on Sunday was like walking Venezio was almost like a double. In this case, it ended up being a triple. You know, to make it in a funny, different way of looking at it, just because of 2 stolen bases.
Justin Mara puts a charge on another one, but this time it's well foul. But that one was hit a mile down the right field line.
That has to be, I think, the furthest foul ball of the season.
Yeah.
You get no points for that, but still to his credit, he now has that title for him.
So once again, just a loud strike number 2. And here's the 2-2 from Douglas. Just outside, full count.
And the one thing this does too, not that the Maple Leafs are not familiar with Jacob Douglas, but it still helps the Costaldo's coming up, the John Salazzo's coming up. It does help them see what this guy's throwing today because of this long at bat by Justin Mara.
The 3-2 to Mara, upstairs ball 4, first and third, no one out for the Maple Leafs, who gave up 2 in the top half of the first inning, but are knocking at the door in the bottom half. So here's Jordan Costaldo, 4th in the IBL in average, but it's the on-base percentage and the OPS, which is just incredible. Holding an on-base percentage of .559 this season for Jordan Costaldo, leading the league with 28 walks and the OPS at 1.153.
Just another day in the office for Jordan Costaldo. Is we talk about triple crown season back in 2019. He's not doing that this season, but still an OPS over 1,000, so not too shabby of a disappointing season, you can say, for Jordan Costaldo to go along with his 4 home runs.
Costaldo takes just outside. I was doing some math and preparing for this game, which is surprising to those that know me. But if you just took all of Jordan Costaldo's plate appearances and only counted his walks, he'd still be hitting .301.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely outrageous, as he's now up 3-0 in a count, but
meaning he's walking 30% of the time.
It's honestly, and that's the other thing too. Is like, yeah, he's walking, but maybe a lineup is not great. Maybe you can get away with doing that, but with Salazzo behind him, Justin Mara ahead of him, it's really tough to just put guys on base in this lineup. But assuming that is now the 3-0 pitch, but it's just so tough to walk guys like Costello, knowing that there's so much damage coming behind him. So it's not easy, but that just goes to show, as you told Thomas, you called the games last season for the Maple Leafs in the playoffs. This lineup is no joke for sure.
3-0 pitch, looking for walk number 21. There goes Justin Mara down to second base, and it's ball 4, bases loaded. And John Salazzo still looking for that first home run on the season. But we've seen a little bit of hard contact so far against Jacob Douglas, and he has the platform to do it with the bases loaded and no one out.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Salazzo's power going away or anything like that. In fact, we're not obviously gambling here in the IBL, but if you told me Salazzo's over/under on home runs 5.5 still this season, I might still have to take the over because I still think he's going to have 2-week span of absolute dominance with home runs. So not that he needs to hit a home run here. A base hit up the middle will be more than sufficient to get the Maple Leafs back in this ballgame.
Jose Venezio at third base, Justin Mara at second, and Jordan Costaldo at first. Here comes the first pitch to Salazzo. It's just outside. No place to put John Salazzo. Jacob Douglas having a little bit of control issues early on. Aiden McCaskey, the young righty, on deck. Salazzo hits one in the air to left field, going back, tracking to the wall, and that one's gone. John Salazzo, his first home run of the season of the Grand Slam variety, and the Maple Leafs take a 4-2 lead.
Like I said, if you call me right now, 5.5, I'll take the over perhaps, and You just can never doubt the power of John Salazzo. And not only that, but he went off with Talco on that one. That wasn't a right field moonshot by left-handed bat. John Salazzo gets the Leafs a 4-2 lead, and it's opposite field that he does so.
Salazzo, a quick trip around the bases, almost catches up to his teammate in Jordan Costello as he hits home plate. And that will be a sigh of relief and maybe a monkey off the back for the big righty or the big lefty on the Maple Leafs.
The only issue with that home run is it was a grand slam for Salazzo, because otherwise, if that was a solo home run, he's coming into that dugout and no one has any reaction, right? But they can't do that for a grand slam, so they had to give him some high fives and what have you.
I don't know. I think the veteran might be past the silent treatment.
Yeah, Justin Amara got it earlier in the season, so I don't think he'd never be past it.
In there for a strike from Douglas to Aid McCaskey. It's 1-1.
5 straight lefties for the Maple Leafs tonight in this game. I think Damon Topley knew the Panthers had a right-handed pitcher on the mound in this one.
And lefties in this ballpark also play as well, so advantage home team. That short porch in right field. The 1-1 to McCaskey. This one's hit in the air. Deep to right field, down the line, diving! And an incredible catch out there in the outfield, sprawling all the way out by Jet Jarvis. And there's one away.
Jacob Douglas will take that out every day of the week, right? That ball could easily have been a double if that ball's not caught. Instead, it's 1 out, and who knows, perhaps now he can get through the rest of this inning. And he needs to, because that pitch count, it's climbing right now. He's at 21 pitches, and he has only 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning.
So it goes as an F9 for out number 1. And now here's the first righty in the lineup, Dan Mara, who has been swinging a hot bat of late. 3 for 4 last game versus the Guelph Royals, all singles. He can put the bat on the ball and sneak it through the infield with the best of them. Takes just outside. So after giving up 2 runs in the top of the first inning, the Maple Leafs have stormed back early on, and they've got to Jacob Douglas as well. And you wonder what kind of leash Douglas has on the mound right now and the depth of the bullpen. There certainly aren't a lot of black jerseys in the dugout. Here's a ball hit in the air, deep to left field. This one's hooking down the line, and another fantastic catch by a Kitchener Panther outfield. That time it's Blake Jacklin. And there's 2 away.
That ball may have been foul if it did fall down, but it may not have been. And again, 2 great plays, one by the right fielder, now the left fielder. And Douglas, this has not been a pretty inning for him, but right now he has 2 outs and is 1 out away. Just going back to that conversation we had about the Panthers bullpen. Right now they have no relievers down at that bullpen. They're all sitting in the dugout, but even then, it doesn't look like they have a lot down there. I'm sure they have a couple of guys down there that are also on the bench as position players. So it might be slim pickings for the Panthers here on a Wednesday evening at Christie Pitts.
So with Grant Tamani out of the lineup, Connor Lewis slots into the number 7 spot in the order. Lewis and then Greg Carrington on deck, but the Leafs have 2 outs here after scoring 4 runs in the bottom of the first. Here's Douglas's pitch, fouled off, right side.
Do you have something about the locks on the porta potty? Sorry, drop. Well, I just went to the porta potty and locked up. That's all I did. I can go down if you have to. I can go down now.
Jacob Douglas looks in, trying to get out of this inning. Here's the pitch to Connor Lewis, well outside.
Oh, is there? Has he got a shirt on it? Yeah, it's
Now 2 balls and 2 strikes on the speedy center fielder for the Leafs. The 2-2. Swinging a foul off right side again. 16 strikes, 13 balls thrown by Jacob Douglas so far, and the pitch count climbing now in this first inning. Connor Lewis is 8 for 38 on the season, batting .210. This time he fouls it off to the right side, and that was a high bouncer that chopped over the Maple Leafs dugout. way outside. And it runs to 2-2. Outside ball 3. Greg Carrington on deck if Connor Lewis can reach. Greg Carrington scored the winning run on that walk-off single by Jose Venezio last game. Here's a ball ripped down the third base line. That one's going to get past the third baseman. Connor Lewis is chugging for second base. Here's the throw, and he's going to be out by a mile. Oh, no, he avoided the tag. Connor Lewis was certainly beat by the throw, but he does a little swim move with his feet, and that's going to go down as a double for Connor Lewis, but man, he really stretched that one.
Yeah, the Panthers have no argument. So obviously the umpire made the right call on that one, and quite the athletic move by Lewis. It's not known to be a guy like Venezio. If you thought anyone would be doing that, it might be a guy like Jose Venezio, but nonetheless, I mean, what a play by Connor Lewis, keep this inning alive. And if Carrington gets on, at least might have an opportunity here to bat around in the first inning. The Boscarino, the number 9 hitter, on deck.
Greg Carrington hitting .263 on the season. Struck out just 13 times in the 57 at-bats he's had. Here's a ball hit in the air to center field, and it's pretty well struck going back as the center fielder, and that one's going to fall up against the base of the wall. Another run will come in to score, and Greg Carrington smashes one to center field, and that will go down as an RBI double in a 5-2 lead in the first inning for the Maple Leafs.
You mentioned it a couple of at-bats ago about at what point do the Panthers, perhaps look at pulling Jacob Douglas here, and I think it has to be close, but right now no one's up in that bullpen. Just the way I look at it, number 9 hitter's up, there's 2 outs, and he hasn't been fooling absolutely anyone. Don't forget, the 2 outs that he's got have been 2 tremendous plays by the outfield, so it's really tough to justify, at least like getting someone up in the bullpen here to keep this game alive for the Panthers.
This ballpark barely held that ball. That banged off the base of the wall on the fly.
And that, I remember still Chrissy Pitts, but that part of the ballpark, it's not an easy spot to hit a home run out of. So full credit to Greg Carrington. That's a well-earned double, to say the least.
Ball fouled off by Luca Boscarino, the number 9 hitter.
Boscarino did not play Sunday. He was on the bench, and the Leafs finally had a couple guys have off the bench in that game. Luca Boscarino, Dawson Parks, but comes in today for Grant Tomani, who's out today for the Leafs.
Boscarino hitting .241. And he swings and misses, strike 3. So the Panthers get out of the inning, but not before the Maple Leafs score 5 to answer the 2 that the Kitchener Panthers scored in the top half from Thomas West and Ryan Eakin. We'll be right back on Toronto Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube.
For Kitchener, the center fielder, number 80, Eric Martin.
Welcome back to Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube. Thomas West and Ryan Eakin and Zach Sloan still on the mound for the Leafs. Gave up 2 runs in the first inning, but settled in nicely after giving up a couple hits. This one's fouled off right side.
And if you're Sloan, you want to do what Douglas was unable to do. Your team prep a 5 spot, have a shutdown inning right now for the Maple Leafs.
Strike 3 called to Eric Martin in his 3rd at-bat of the IBL season. And Zach Sloan gets the first out and his 2nd strikeout of the game.
Now batting for Kitchener, the shortstop, number 58, Tyler Henriquez.
Here's Tyler Henriquez, and he gets hit by a pitch. And he'll head down to first base, tried to jump out of the way of that one.
Justin Moore saying something to the umpire about it, but I'm not really sure if there's much of a case on that one. He definitely got hit by a pitch, but it's pretty animated conversation between the 2 points and pointing their fingers and what have you. But maybe Moore perhaps saying he didn't try to get out of the way of it, but to me, that's a clear break for sure.
Now batting for Kitchener, the first baseman, number 15, Dryden Sloat.
So here's Dryden Sloat, who's playing first base tonight. Hitting .259 on the season, but a small sample size, just 27 at-bats. So that's the 3rd walk now of the game for Zach Sloan, who's had a little bit of trouble finding the strike zone, but seemed to settle in after letting the first 3 get on in the first inning. Sloat takes in there for a strike. Dryden Sloat is from Kitchener, Ontario, with his hometown team in the Kitchener Panthers. Pitch is just outside. Maple Leafs have a new defensive alignment in the outfield from last game. They got Luca Boscareno. As this ball gets away, there could be a play down at second base. Not in time. Justin Mara had the ball just squeak away from him. And heads up base running at first base from Tyler Henriquez. And now there's a runner in scoring position with 1 out for the Panthers. Sloan looks in. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball hooks into the strike zone. It's now 2-2 on Dryden Sloat. The 2-2. Inside corner, strike 3 call. Down goes the 9-hitter Sloat. And it's back to the top of the order for Jet Jarvis.
Zach Sloan's getting that inside pitch. It's going to be a long night for Panthers batters, but full credit to Zach Sloan. And it helps that, if you talk about all the lefties in the Maple Leafs lineup, the Panthers have their fair share of lefties in their lineup tonight, to say the least.
Jet Jarvis has had a great start to the season, and he keeps that going. Drops one into the outfield over the head of Dan Mara. The runner from second base is going to come around and score easily, and that's an RBI single with 2 outs for Jet Jarvis. As Tyler Henriquez comes around and scores his 9th run of the season.
We talked about it on Sunday. I mean, look at the game on Sunday or Saturday evening. Guelph won an absolute barn burner against the Leafs. So many runs combined between the two teams. And then Sunday, we obviously had a complete opposite, right? Pitchers duel, and it's back to being what it was on Saturday. So, we had a back and forth conversation about, you like the blow up games, I like the close games. It looks like you might have a 2-1 advantage if you're looking at the last 3 games now.
And this game seems to have high scoring written all over it. That being said, that's not usually the case when Zach Sloan's on the mound. Gave up just 2 runs in 5 innings of work his last time out. He has that ERA sitting in the low 2s, which is great in any league.
You look at Jose Arias in London, you look at Claudio with Guelph, and then there's Zach Sloan. Zach Sloan has been the best Canadian pitcher in the league this season. A tough one through the first 2 innings in this game tonight.
And with this Maple Leafs organization and in the IBL since 2017. Here's the ball hit down the left field line, but it's just foul. Clangs around in the Toronto Maple Leafs bullpen. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Jacklin. Here's the pitch. Runner going down to second base. Here's the throw right on the money, and they got him at second. Jet Jarvis is gunned down, and Justin Mara ends the inning himself with a throw out at second base from Thomas West and Ryan Eakin here at Dominico Field. It's a 5-3 lead for the hometown Toronto Maple Leafs as we head to the bottom of the second inning. Jose Venezio will lead things off for the Toronto Maple Leafs, ahead 5-3 in the bottom of the inning. Bottom of the second. Maple Leafs were 1 away from batting around as Venezio tries to bunt one down the third base line, but clangs it off the back netting.
Always nice. Second time through the order, and it happened in the top of the second inning. Venezio led off the first inning, led off the ball game for the Maple Leafs, and now leading off the second inning.
Jacob Douglas was forced into 40 pitches in that first inning. As here's a ball ripped down the right field line and just foul by Jose Venezio. He knew it at the box too.
A big inning for Douglas. Sloan was not able to have a clean second inning. We'll see if Douglas can have his first clean inning of the ball game.
Pitch from Douglas. This one's fisted on the ground. It's going to be a tough play for the shortstop to get the speedy Venezio, and just in time, Tyler Henriquez threw a bomb over to first base. And a big stretch by Drayton Sloan. Just one away.
That was going to have to be absolutely right on the hammer to throw out Venezio, and he does a great play by the Panthers shortstop.
So here's Justin Mara, and it seemed like he was seeing the ball out of Jacob Douglas's hand pretty well, but he hit 2 that seemed like they had home run distance, but were both well foul down the line. See if he makes the adjustment in this at bat and takes outside ball 1. This one's over the outside corner for a strike. You'd have to imagine that with the short porch and the power that Justin Mara possesses, he's probably looking for something on the inner half.
100%. It's so enticing, too, in this ballpark as a left-handed batter, as you just mentioned, to hit a bomb in this ballpark. That's just the way it's always been for left-handed bats.
Outside, 2-1.
At the same time, that is likely, that's the mindset for us up here. That's likely the mindset for, I hope, the battery for the Panthers. So maybe keep things to the outside against Justin Mara and the 2 guys behind him in this Maple Leafs lineup.
All 3 pitches from Douglas have been outside, and this one's the same, but in there for a strike, 2-2.
That one was a bit high too, but called strike by the umpire.
One out here in the second inning. Already 5-3 Toronto Maple Leafs. The 2-2, this one's hammered straight to the backstop. Justin Mara had a good cut, but once again, not able to do anything with that outside fastball. And that might be adjustment as well that Jacob Douglas has made since that first at-bat by Justin Mara.
You almost have to wonder if they come inside just to try to freeze him. He's not expecting no pitch inside here. There's been no pitches inside yet. You wonder if they come in and freeze him.
This time, Mara hits it on the ground to shortstop. Henriquez fires it to first, just in time to get Mara 2 away. I think Justin Mara would have willingly accepted a challenge on the inner half, but all pitches in that at bat were right on the outside corner.
I was sure there would be somewhere we could buy hot dogs. Is that true? Yeah. Just see where the green building is at center field. Yeah.
The number 3 hitter for the Maple Leafs, Jordan Costaldo, walked in his first at bat on 4 pitches. And this one's outside, ball 1. Not only does Jordan Costaldo walk a lot as he takes outside 2-0, but he also doesn't strike out a lot either. No. And he talks a lot about trying to win the at-bat every time, which basically means getting a hit or a walk. And he has 2.2 walks for every strikeout he has this season, which is an extremely low total. Here's a ball hit in the air to left field. Going back, this one's drifting to the wall. It's gone. The 5th home run on the season for Jordan Costaldo, and he extends the lead 6-3 Toronto Maple Leafs, and both home runs Oppo Taco tonight for the Leafs.
You know, I think all these pitchers have been walking Costaldo all season. They've kind of figured him out. I think just let him have one bag and keep it there, because when you throw that guy strikes, it's really, really difficult to get him out. As you saw it there, he too goes Oppo Taco to get the Leafs a 5-3 lead. Excuse me, 6-3 lead.
Brings up John Salazzo, who homered in his last at-bat to just about the same place that one went out from Jordan Costaldo. Neither home run have been particularly far over the wall, but you got to possess a lot of power to get that ball out to right field or left field.
That was the same type of home run. Not as that one was deeper than his other home run, but the last home run he hit here was a walk-off home run against the Hamilton Cardinals, and that too was a scraper over the fence in left field. So he's got that spot figured out.
Just missing this one is John Salazzo, and it's just out of play. Third baseman Kenny Clemente gave it a look, but it was about 6 feet out of his reach. Jacob Douglas now at 52 pitches in the second inning with 2 outs. The pitch to Salazzo right down the middle. Strike 2. Douglas looks in. Here's the 2-2 hammered on the ground. Long look in by Jacob Douglas, trying to get out of the inning with just the solo home run by Jordan Costaldo over the inside corner. A home plate umpire thought about it, but the count runs to 2-2. Big hole up the middle for John Salazzo to shoot for. We'll see what he's thinking about right now. Takes outside, and the count runs full. John Salazzo hitting .265 on the season, but have been swinging a hotter bat of late. Off to a slow start. Hit his first home run of the season of the Grand Slam variety over the right field wall, and now he swings and misses for a strike 3. Down goes John Salazzo, but the Maple Leafs get a solo home run from Jordan Costaldo and now lead 6-3 over the Kitchener Panthers. Zach Sloan coming out for his third inning of work. Welcome back to Dominico Field. 6-3 lead for the Maple Leafs. And the first pitch of the inning from Zach Sloan will not be a pitch as the umpire calls time.
There's no way that was a minute and a half in between.
Zach Sloan has given up 3 runs so far, 2 in the first and 1 in the second. Here's a bunt try. So Blake Jacklin is the batter as the inning ended with a throw down to second base to catch the runner stealing us. Here's a ball lifted in the air. John Salazzo over to the fence and topples over. Just out of frame on our camera shot here at Dominico Field, but John Salazzo just went headlong over the fence, but appears to be okay. The ball did clank off his glove, so the batter, Blake Jacklin, will stay alive.
It was almost like a Brett Laurie at Yankee Stadium type of moment, but thankfully he's going on grass here, not concrete.
I think if you asked John Salazzo, he would have said like a Derek Jeter.
There you go. You got to catch the ball if that's the case, John. So.
John Salazzo, I believe, is actually, he does take pride in his defense.
Absolutely.
Over there at third base.
He's got a cannon of an arm, to say the least. That's why he can also come in and pitch in a heartbeat if need be.
Here's the ball hit on the ground to first base. A tough hop for Jordan Costaldo. He beats the runner, Blake Jacklin, to the base. And now there's one away. The first interaction that I had with John Salazzo was over Twitter. And it was...
He is active on there.
Yeah, he is. And he made a fantastic play from around the grass area at third base. And I shouted it out as a Manny Machado-like play. So I instantly got a direct message afterwards asking if he could have the clip to show his family, show him that he can play defense.
Yeah, hey. It's just some slander, but that's the best part of the YouTube broadcast, right? Any slander, oh, you can't do this, can't do that. Well, there you go. He has hit a home run this season. Well, now we have a video of him hitting a grand slam. So.
Exactly.
The power of YouTube.
John Salaz is the heart and soul of this Toronto Maple Leafs team. Veteran in the IBL. And we're glad he's okay after toppling over the fence. Yeah. That could be a dangerous play.
And he's not some small guy either, right? It's just not like he's, some guy that can fall over and whatever. I mean, he's a tall guy out there, but he's taller than most third basemen. So,
at 6'3", and he's hit the gym as well.
That's an understatement. That's a great observation.
Here's the pitch from Sloan, inside, and it just hits the batter, Liam Wilson, so he'll head down to first base. That's the second batter that Zach Sloan has hit. And there's a runner on first with one out for the Panthers in this top of the third inning. So they trail 6-3.
Zach Sloan still looking for his first shutdown inning. Just one pitch away from doing so. Ground ball likely turns 2.
Simon Grimberg puts a charge on this one and hits it over Carrington's head. Here comes the throwback into second base, and barely hustling to third is Liam Wilson. So first and third, that'll go as a hard hit long single for Simon Greenberg. You don't always think of catcher as an offensive position in baseball, but batting .400 coming to this game, boy, oh boy, has Simon Greenberg ever brought that this season.
There's been so many catchers in the league this season. We know that Justin Moore has always been a guy that can absolutely slug the baseball, but you look at Robert Mullen with London, Sam Cocker with Kitchener, or with Welland, and Greenberg with Kitchener. I mean, there's a lot of catchers in this league that can absolutely rake.
There's a lot of catchers hitting .400 this season. 3 of them.
Yeah.
With Mullen, Cocker. I guess he's hitting in the 300s.
Even Tyler Plumpton with the big catch is batting around that 300 mark, so it's been quite the season for a bunch of catchers.
Ball ripped foul left side. That one was crushed. Stephen Whalen is the batter. Had a good start to his season as well, hitting .292. 20 hits and 71 at-bats. So we're around the midway point in this IBL season. Here's a throw over to the first base. Just checking on Simon Greenberg, who doesn't have a ton of speed over there at first, but with the lefty Sloan on the mound, he can keep a close eye on the runner at first. Here's the pitch, fouled off left side once again.
Back-to-back balls by Bobby, and down the third baseline, he drops that one. So a tough one to play for the Leaf superfan down the third baseline.
He's got a fielding percentage of 500
Yeah.
so far this game.
Yeah.
Two strikes to throw over to first, and boy, I don't think that Simon Greenberg was going over there at first base, but he was leaning the wrong way on that throw back. Maybe having a tough time picking up the delivery of Sloan, who delivers inside ball one. Now 2-1 on Stephen Whalen.
The pitch count getting up for Sloan, almost nearing 60 pitches.
Swing and a miss, strike three. The third strikeout of the night for Zach Sloan, and there's two away. And it brings up Kenny Clemente, the third baseman tonight for the Kitchener Panthers.
Clemente began last season with the Baycats, but he had a separated shoulder, so he's basically only being used as a pinch runner. But finds himself on the Panthers this season. He was recovering from his separated shoulder. He wasn't actively running and stealing bases with one, but a nice add for the Panthers here. A guy can play second base, shortstop, third base, and some outfield. So a nice guy to have on your team for sure.
The native of Oakville, Ontario, and he puts a charge in this one. But right there is Luca Boscareno to make the catch. And getting out of some trouble are Zach Sloan and the Toronto Maple Leafs in the top of the third inning. We head to the bottom half, and the big bats for the Toronto Maple Leafs coming up 5, 6, and 7 as they lead 6-3 over the Kitchener Panthers. Aiden McCaskey leads things off for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Facing another inning of work from Douglas, and swings and misses at an off-speed pitch. 0-1.
A nice crowd here at Christie Pitch for the third Wednesday game of the season.
Aiden McCaskey, like Jordan Costaldo, but at a different level, has done a good job getting on base this season. Has an on-base percentage of .408 in the first half of the year. McCaskey hits one on the ground. This is weakly hit. It gets through the first baseman. The throw on a first just in time. A nice job to hustle over there by Jacob Douglas. And there's one away.
In the case of McCaskey, got on base 5 times against Guelph on Saturday. 4 different walks at one point, a hit. That's one way to raise that on-base percentage for sure.
So there's 2 Toronto Maple Leafs that are tied for the team lead in RBIs. One is Justin Mara. Can you guess who the second one is?
So you make me almost think it's Dan Moore, but it's not, because even though he's bad and he missed some time with an injury. I'm going to say Salazzo just because a few bats behind.
So it's Aiden McCaskey.
Okay, McCaskey. Okay.
That's what I thought was interesting. He's been putting up. I think he's been going a little bit underrated this season.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you're giving out awards right now, we can talk about MVP, all this kind of stuff. But Rookie of the Year, I mean, there's not been a better guy in his first season, I guess, under the age of 25 than Aiden McCaskey. I mean, Welland's shortstop, has been great. There's been a few other guys, but Aiden McCaskey's been up there with anyone as one of the best young players in this league.
Here's a ball hit for field by Dan Mara, running back and making the catch in the outfield. About 52 feet from where he was standing is Eric Martin. Mara put a charge on that one. He has 2 home runs on the season, but just missed it.
Dan Mara, going back to his Oshawa days, only had, I think, around 9 home runs coming into this season. So
yeah.
He's at 2 home runs this season. He almost hit his third one, you can say. He's been a new man this season with the bat.
And he's been able to hit them down the left field line pretty well. That one was a little more to center field. But he's had a few games. He's had a few 3-hit games.
Oh, yeah.
He's hitting 242 on the season, but you can kind of see the offense coming around from him. It comes in bunches. Had 3 hits last game. Here's the ball skied in the air. This one's relatively shallow. Going out is Henriquez, and he's going to make the catch. And that was a quick 1-2-3 inning for Jacob Douglas, whose pitch count is climbing, and he needed that one. 6-3, Toronto Maple Leafs. We head to the 4th inning, and this game is ticking along right now. From Thomas West and Ryan Eakin, we'll be right back in a couple minutes. Seven, 8, and 9 to lead things off for the Kitchener Panthers as they trail 6-3 to the Maple Leafs. And a swing and a miss by Eric Martin, who's still looking for that first hit of this IBL season. In fairness to him, he's only had 3 at-bats.
Yes, that is an important context. If you're on July 6th, that's either a short sample size or a horrific season.
Zach Sloan delivers in there, strike 1. And here's the second pitch of the inning. It's in the dirt. 1-1. It's Eric Martin and then Tyler Henriquez, who has been great at shortstop, made a good catch to finish off that last inning, and a fantastic throw to get Jose Venezio 2 innings ago. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and down goes Eric Martin. 0 for 2 on the night now, and Tyler Henriquez comes up, who walked and scored in his last at-bat.
We can sit here and talk about Sloan and say, oh, he's allowed 3 runs and some base runners and all that, but 7 strikeouts here in the 4th inning. He's getting a lot of swing and miss right now against these Panthers bats.
Here's the ball ripped down the left field line, but well foul.
That ball's a little bit more straight. That really throws off my hole. He's been getting a lot of swings and misses. That was easily the hardest hit ball the Panthers have had all night, but well foul.
Well, strikeouts are kind of the mantra for Zach Sloan. That's That's been his bread and butter throughout his time here with the Maple Leafs. Although he has allowed a little bit of hard contact at times, he's always been able to get people out via the K. Here's a pitch hit to center field, not particularly deep. Coming in is Connor Lewis, who's under it. He makes the catch, and quickly 2 away.
And that kind of sets up some interesting options for Damon Topley come playoff time, because come playoff time, especially this season, it's a best of 5 for the first 2 rounds. You can have a 3-man rotation. So you look at it and say, okay, Castro's one. They have another Dominican coming perhaps as early as this weekend, just given some news that happened prior to the game for the Maple Leafs. And you look at Dylan Jacober perhaps as a number 3. Zach Sloan is a wipeout lefty that can come out and get strikeouts and leave guys on base out of the bullpen for the Maple Leafs. Be quite the nice asset to have for Damon Topley.
And if you ever need someone to bridge the gap as well, Marek Deska is still out there in the bullpen. And he has a ton of starting experience. And although he doesn't throw particularly hard, extremely accurate, does well with the off-speed pitches, and he can eat some innings, no doubt. Sloan delivers high.
Look at Castro on Saturday. He had issued a lot of walks against Guelph, and then the guy that comes in after him, Deska, not one walk. He lets some hits, and that happens, but not one walk, and that's what you'd love to see for a manager.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3, strikeout number 8 through 4 innings for Zach Sloan. The Maple Leafs lead 6-3, and the Bats are coming up next. It's 8-9-1, leading things off for the Maple Leafs in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Maple Leafs leading 6-3 over the Kitchener Panthers. Scored 5 in the first, 1 in the second, and all the runs coming in the first 2 innings so far. And maybe these 2 starting pitchers trying to get settled in. First pitch is inside from Jacob Douglas.
Greg Carrington's always a nice guy to have lead off an inning. He can easily be number 1 hitter on most teams in this league, or in that number 9 spot as a second leadoff guy. So a nice guy to have leading off the inning for the Maple Leafs.
Swing and a miss on a very slow curveball. 1-1. And Greg Carrington did start the season leading off for the Maple Leafs, but when Jose Venezio was added to this team about 10 games in, Greg Carrington moved to that number 9 spot and now hitting number 8 tonight with Luca Boscarino hitting behind him. Jacob Douglas throwing pitch number 70, and it's fouled off. Greg Carrington's hitting .263 this season, has a home run and 6 RBIs. Jacob Douglas looks in the 2-2. Over the inside corner, strike 3 called. Carrington goes down looking, and there's 1 away.
Not much you can do if you're Carrington on that one, but at the same time, Luca Boscarino, if he gets on base, he can cause some havoc with his speed as the top of the order is due up for the Maple Leafs after Boscarino.
Luca Boscarino playing his 14th career IBL game. He's a rookie this year. Takes just outside, ball 1. 2002 born player from Mississauga, Ontario, one of the younger guys on this team. Check swing and a look over to first, but he didn't go. It's now 1-2.
Boscarino going to Connor State come the fall, and he is going to play some outfield. I mean, he came in thinking he was going to be playing some catcher, but Brady Sokornik, also a Maple Leaf, he's going to be catching at Connor State. So Boscarino, with his speed, going to play some outfield for Connor State.
Maple Leafs, little farm system, developing some prospects.
Reese Montgomery, there's a few other ones as well that go to Connor State. And that's where a lot of these guys that live in the GTA, they end up going to. You think of Jordan Costello, he also went to Connor State a long time ago. And a bunch of other players across the league as well. You look at Kyle DeGrace and Guelph, former Maple Leaf, another Connor State guy. So lots of alumni from that school for sure.
The pitch from Douglas in there for a strike. Now 2-2 on Boscarino. Or 3-1, I should say. Swinging a ground ball to third base, and that one's going to be just fair. Long throw by Kenny Clemente. How about that? 2 away on a long throw from just about the edge of the grass at third.
That is as nice of a play as you'll see in this game. The Panthers, you look at some of these outs we've had, whether it's a guy in left field, a guy in right field, now Clemente at third base. They've had some baller plays in this game. That was a massive out for sure.
That play had Kenny Clemente written all over it. A fantastic defender pretty much anywhere on the infield. Here's Jose Venezio coming up with 2 outs. Done a really good job at putting the ball in play this season. Takes just inside. Mentioned this last game, but after a walk last game, it was his first in 6 games for Jose Venezio. You don't see a lot from a leadoff hitter, but he's still effective as he chops one up the middle. This will be a tough play. A throw on to first, and it ended up being well in time as Henriquez has had some strong throws over there to first base. 6 in a row retired, or 7 in a row retired by Jacob Douglas, who's getting in a groove with the Maple Leafs, leading 6-3 over the Kitchener Panthers. We'll be back in a couple of minutes for the top half of the 5th inning. First pitch from Zach Sloan is just outside. We're in the top of the 5th inning, and the leadoff hitter, Jet Jarvis, is up for the Kitchener Panthers. Hit an RBI single to make it 6-3 in his last at-bat. Now here's a ball lifted into the short infield, and John Salazzo comes over and this time has enough room to make the catch. And there's one away on 2 pitches for Zach Sloan.
So Salazzo, as you were seeing the fence, he must be thinking, oh, no, not again. But the ball, it died for him. No issue. 1 out for the Maple Leafs.
If you missed it a couple innings ago, it was a toppling over the side fence attempt from the third baseman for the Maple Leafs. Not able to make the catch, but certainly jarring anytime you go headlong over a fence and pretty much any context.
Oh, yeah.
Sloan's pitch is over the inside corner for strike one. .45 strikes, 28 balls on the evening for Zach Sloan. Came into this game with 34 strikeouts in 33 innings and has 8 more this game. Swing and a miss, strike two. Blake Jacklin, the batter for the Kitchener Panthers, is 0 for 2 so far. Swinging a ground ball. This is Jose Venecio's. He has to make a strong throw to first and not able to pick it out of the dirt on a, in fairness, very difficult hop was Jordan Costaldo. And that should go as an infield hit in the first hit of the evening for Blake Jacklin.
Yeah, that's a hit every day of the week for sure. I mean, tons of speed coming out of the batter's box, and just a tough play for either Salazzo at third base or Venezio at shortstop. It was going to have to be absolutely on the, it was a terrific throw, and it wasn't the case. So, 1 out, 1 on for the Panthers.
Liam Wilson is the batter. Comes into this game with 2 home runs on the season and 12 RBIs, but a hot hitter hitting .290. Pitch is way inside. Here's a throw down to second base. They might have a shot. Not in time. It was a close play down there at second, but able to slide in just ahead of the throw from Justin Mara is Blake Jacklin. So now there's a runner in scoring position for the number 3 hitter, Liam Wilson.
Most guys going from first base to second base on that play, given that they did not go too far past Mara, likely out by a mile, but not the case for Jacklin, who gets to second base, with ease. Well, I shouldn't say ease, as Dan Mara did scream, what? And you can hear that from up here, but a 50-50 call goes to Panthers way in this one.
1 out, runner on second, pitch is in there for a strike. Counts 1-1. The Kitchener Panthers have been extremely aggressive on the base path in this game, whether it be a ball that gets 3 or 4 feet away. As here's a ball hammered to center field, but Connor Lewis is going to be under it as it hangs up. Blake Jacklin fakes a tag. The throw hits the cutoff man, Jose Venezio, and he'll hold his ground at second base.
And it's all about just applying pressure on the defense, right? Whether it's laying down a bunt or whether it's taking up on a play that's a 50-50 one and stealing bases, it just applies pressure on the defense. And some teams in this league, they don't have tremendous defenses, so it's well worth the risk, I think, in this league for sure. And you see Welland does it better than anyone, right? I mean, they got, I think, 200 stolen base, whatever the total is now. It's an absolutely absurd number for a team that gets on base a ton down there for sure.
Nobody will come even close to the amount of stolen bases that they have this season. Here's Simon Gringberg, the batter, swings and misses, 1-1. Grinberg hammered a ball into the outfield gap, but hit it so hard it was over the head of Greg Carrington, and he made a quick throw to get it in, so it ended up being a single to push the runner from first to third. Had RBI written all over it, but a good play to get it in quickly by Carrington. Here's another ball hit out to center field. Connor Lewis broke in and then breaks back and makes the catch. And another good inning for Zach Sloan. He allows just the 1 hit, and the Maple Leafs continue to lead 6-3 over the Kitchener Panthers from Thomas West. And Ryan Eakin will be back in just a couple minutes. And the top of the order, 2-3-4 coming up for the Maple Leafs. Welcome back to Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. Justin Mara will lead things off, and his Maple Leafs have a 6-3 lead over the Kitchener Panthers. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Mara 0 for 2 so far, but has had some hard hit balls that are foul. This one's hit relatively soft into the outfield, and it's going to drop for a single. The second bat in the row, Justin Mara goes the other way, and this time is able to dump one into the outfield, and sometimes that's just how baseball works. The softest hit ball you've had all game ends up being the one you get for a hit.
Jacklin backed up, thinking the ball was becoming further back, but at the end of the day, he should have been breaking in. And at least your ball dropping in from Mara, there's no question that ball was going to drop once you saw Jacklin try to run back into the boards of the ball and at least have a leadoff base runner.
And you almost wonder if that may have something to do with the fact that the sun is down and it's starting to get kind of cool here at Christie Pitts. The ball probably won't be traveling as much as we saw it in the first 3 innings or so. Here's Jordan Costaldo, who takes strike 1. Jacob Douglas has the leadoff runner at second base. Costaldo stepped away from that one, but it's in there for strike 2. And for the first time this afternoon, Jordan Costaldo finds himself well behind in the count. Douglas works in 0-2. He has Costaldo in a hole and a swing and a ball fouled off to the left side.
Heads up on the hill on that one.
There's a lot of fans on the hill on this Wednesday evening game. Might be one of the bigger crowds that we've seen at Christie Pitts this season.
Panthers have somebody up in their bullpen, trying to locate a number on that guy.
Well, the pitch count's getting up for Jacob Douglas. He's thrown 81 pitches so far. One ball, 2 strikes. Douglas's pitch, swinging a little tapper to first base. This could be 2. Throw on to second for 1. On to first. And in time, just in time, it was a close play. Jordan Costaldo.
They're going to say he's now safe. I think the ump called a mulligan on that one and said, wait a minute. Maybe he didn't mean to do it. Maybe he did not mean. No, honestly, because there was a pretty quick reaction afterwards.
It looks pretty safe.
Yeah.
So it is safe. Just for clarity there. The umpire called out, and obviously this will bring the manager out of the dugout as well. So it'll go as a fielder's choice, 1 away. Jordan Costaldo is at first base.
Not much of an argument from Don Menard, the Panthers manager, and I think it was just one of those plays he accidentally, called him out. That happens.
Important that the call was correct in the end. John Salazzo now the batter with a runner on first base and 1 away. Aiden McCaskey is on deck. Pitch is outside to Salazzo. The game plan against the top of the order for Jacob Douglas has been pitch away, away, away. And both John Salazzo and Jordan Costaldo have taken advantage of that and just taken the ball the other way. Both for home runs in this game. The 2 home runs going to right field, the opposite way for the left-handed batters.
That's one of the things, too. You look at Costaldo the last 10 years. To me, there's not a better batter in this league that can go opposite field and use all sides of the field the way Costaldo can. So it's really tough to get him out. We talked about, him, the fact that he doesn't strike out a lot and the fact that he walks a ton. But even when he puts the bat on the ball, it's really tough to get him out.
John Salazzo takes low, 2 balls and 1 strike on the big lefty. Douglas looks in. Here's the pitch just outside. 3-1. And a hitter's count for the power bat who's already gone yard once in this ball game. Long look in from Douglas. Here's the 3-1. Swinging a ball hammered to first base. It gets through the first baseman, Drayden Sloat. Trying to go first to third, and the throw is bouncing around on the infield, so it will be a single, and going first to third is Justin Mara. And the Maple Leafs have a runner at third base in scoring position with just one away.
But that was a better throw by Jarvis. I think he may have had a play on Costaldo at third base, but it was not a great throw coming into the infield. And now the Leafs have runners on the corners for Aiden McCaskey.
Aiden McCaskey is 0 for 2 so far this game. Every batter except McCaskey, Mara, and Boscareno have recorded a hit already, and we're just in the 5th inning. Maple Leafs have 6 runs on 7 hits. Takes in there, strike one. Jacob Douglas in the dirt, and a good block by Simon Grinberg. Keep John Salazzo over there at first. Another one in the dirt, and now Simon Grinberg is getting some work out there behind the plate.
There's no question he can't allow a ball to get past him, and not only would Costello come home to make it a 7-3 lead, but then you'd also be out of the double play ball as Salazzo would take off to second base on the play.
Here's the ball hit on the ground, foul. Yeah, so that is Jordan Costaldo over there at first base as he reached on the fielder's choice, and Justin Mara, who led off the inning with a single, was thrown out at second. So now it's Costaldo at third, John Salazzo at first. The batter is the young Aiden McCaskey with a 2-2 count. Swing and a miss by McCaskey, strike 3. And now Dan Mara will come up and try not to strand that runner in scoring position at third base with 1 out, now 2 away.
That's a massive out for Douglas. I would say is likely facing his final batter no matter what happens in this at bat. He either gets Dan Mara out and he gets through the inning, or he allows it hit and leaves 6-3 lead, because it does look like that Panthers reliever, whoever that was warming up, is ready to go for the Panthers.
Pitch number 96 is in there for a strike from Jacob Douglas. Mara's the batter, and he's had a lot of success just shooting that ball right up the middle. Yep. And there still is a bit of a hole, but you can see that the infielders, both shortstop and second base, are shaded up the middle just a little bit. This pitch is outside 1-1.
Dan Mara, no question, he doesn't need that home run right now or ball in the gap. He just needs a base hit, and there's not been a better guy as the last 2-3 games that you do that than the guy up at the plate right now for the Maple Leafs.
Which is inside ball 2. Dan Mara will put the ball in play a lot. He's only struck out 5 times this season. And although the batting average isn't crazy high, he does a great job as good bat-to-ball skills. Which is in there for a strike, 2-2. 5 RBIs on the year for Dan Mara. A single would give him 6. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th, and the Maple Leafs would love some insurance runs, up 6-3. Ball's fouled off at home plate. Just getting a piece of that was Mara.
I know it's 2-2, but I don't think this is a bad spot to perhaps have Salazzo go on the pitch. 2-2 pitch. Maybe they don't throw down, being afraid that Costello might be able to come home. And it also moves that defense around, too, with the shortstop and second baseman, which can play up to Dan Mara's strength. So I think this is an opportunity perhaps to cause some havoc on the base pass.
Not going. The ball is fouled straight back. And that would be interesting as well, because there's been 2 stolen base attempts in this game by the Maple Leafs, both by Jose Venezio in the first inning, and neither one, Simon Grinberg, wanted to throw the ball down to second or third base.
And Salazzo's not Venezio, but he might not have to be if Mark can put the ball in play.
Speed-wise, that is.
Yes.
Here's the ball. Hit on the ground to second base. Should be an easy play. Flip over to Henriquez. And the Maple Leafs strand 2 runners on, but still lead 6-3 over the Kitchener Panthers. We head to the top of the 6th inning here at Dominico Field at Christie Pitts. Welcome back to Dominico Field. It's 6-3 Maple Leafs. Stephen Whalen leading things off. He's 1 for 2 on the evening, and now make that 2 for 3 as he hits one up the middle. And the first pitch from Zach Sloan in the top of the 6th inning. It's a single, so 1 on and nobody out for the Kitchener Panthers. And it brings up Kenny Clemente, who doesn't have a hit, but has had some sensational defensive plays. The last one a couple innings ago from deep in the hole or deep down the line. And a throw across.
And you have to think this might be Sloan's last inning. Pitch count is getting up there now for the Maple Leafs lefty, so it should be interesting if Sloan can perhaps come up for a 7th inning, because you look at Maple Leafs bullpen, they got some guys today, there's no question. They can get through 9 innings, but the way Zach Sloan's been pitching, especially the last few innings, they'd love to get perhaps a 7th inning out of him.
In the dirt, 1-1 on pitch number 85. Here's a throw to first base, and breaking the wrong way was Stephen Whalen. Zach Sloan picks him off. And for the second time, the Kitchener Panthers have run themselves out of a base runner. One on the caught stealing by Justin Marr, and this time Zach Sloan with that tough lefty move picks off Stephen Whalen.
And you mentioned it, I guess, a few innings ago now, saying maybe, even though the guy's not a threat to run, throw him back because maybe you catch him leaning, right? And for sure enough, that's exactly what happened on that play.
Sloan's pitch is hit on the ground. Sloan's going to have to hustle over there to first base. The flip over, not in time. Might have been a miscommunication about whether Zach Sloan was going to have to get over there or Jordan Costaldo was going to go to the base himself. Either way, it's best that the pitcher hustles off the mound, but with that lefty delivery, Zach Sloan falls off to the side, not facing first base. So it's a tough play to get over there. And doesn't help when you have a speedy runner in Kenny Clemente, who's now on first base with 1 away. Here's the ball ripped down the line. That's a fair ball down the left field line. It goes into the Maple Leafs bullpen. Boscareno is going to fire one into the infield. Jose Venezio relays up to the plate. It's not in time. It goes to the backstop. And now the runner's going to head up to third base. So that'll end up being a throwing error on Jose Venezio. The ball game is now 6-4 Maple Leafs as Stephen Whalen, or Kenny Clemente, I should say, comes in to score. And the batter, Eric Martin, who gets his first game, will go as a double and an error to allow him to go to third base. So now a runner on third with 1 out for the Kitchener Panthers, who have a fantastic opportunity to bring this ball game within 1. Still no action in the Toronto Maple Leafs bullpen. It appears that this is Zach Sloan's inning to finish. And he'd love to hold it right here at a 2-run lead for his Maple Leafs. But here's a ball ripped out to left field. That one's going to get down and bounce all the way to the wall. The runner at third base will easily come in to score, and it's a stand-up double for Tyler Henriquez. And now that will bring a short meeting on the mound with Zach Sloan, who's given up some hard contact on his last 2 pitches. Maple Leafs clinging to now just a 1-run lead, and Kitchener still has a runner in scoring position. Damon Topley is out to the mound to discuss things with Zach Sloan. It looks like he's going to stay in the game as action just starting now with some soft toss in the Maple Leafs bullpen. So Sloan has a challenge to hold that run at second base with 1 away. The first pitch is in there for a strike to Drayden Sloat. Sloan hitting 241 on the year and now rips one foul. This one is way out of play on the left field line. Lefty v. lefty matchup. Swing and a miss on a tough breaking ball. So now 2 away, and that's a huge strikeout on 3 pitches for Zach Sloan. Looked like it might have been the slider. And it goes back to the top of the order for Jet Jarvis. Jarvis from Wyoming, Ontario, takes the first pitch outside for a ball. Jarvis came into this game hitting .306 at the midway point of this IBL season. Last year in his rookie season in 2021 with the Kitchener Panthers hit .281. Stakes in there for a strike. Another one swung on a missed strike too. That Jet Jarvis comes to the Kitchener Panthers from McGill University as he hits one out to left field. This is going to be a tough play for Boscareno. It gets down, and Jet Jarvis is going to tie the ball game on a stand-up double. It's 6-6 at Dominico Field. That is a huge 2-out double at the top of the order. And things do not get any easier with Blake Jacklin, who has now raised his average to .333. And now this is 4th at bat. Has a hit and a walk in this ball game, takes inside ball 1. 15 RBIs on the season for Blake Jacklin, 3 off the team lead. So the pitch is over the outside corner. That was a breaking ball from Sloan, 1-1. .23 hits and 69 at-bats now for Jacklin. Outside, 2-1. Jet Jarvis is the runner at second base. This game now tied 6-6, swing and a miss, 2-2. This is a huge out for Zach Sloan right here, as he's given up 3 runs in the 6th inning. The 2-2. Outside, ball 3, full count. Pitch number 103 coming from Zach Sloan. Inside, ball 4. And now it brings up the number 3 hitter, Liam Wilson, who has a runner on second base and would love to find some green to try and score him. And that would give the Kitchener Panthers a 7-6 lead. Could be the last batter for Zach Sloan. We'll see if he's ready by the time Simon Greenberg comes up, or he can get out of this inning. Ball in the dirt, a good block by Justin Mara to hold the runner at second base. Jet Jarvis out there at second, and Blake Jacklin at first. A big moment here in this 6th inning. 3 runs already in for the Kitchener Panthers. They've tied the ball game. Liam Wilson 1 for 2 today with a walk. He's also scored a run as that one's in the dirt. Now 3-0. Manager Damon Topley for the Maple Leafs is pacing in the dugout. Outside, ball 4, a 4-pitch walk by Zach Sloan, who didn't like the call. Thought it was over the outside corner. And now Simon Grigberg comes up with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And this is a situation here, lefty v lefty, where Zach Sloan really has to bear down to try and get out Grigberg, who has already had some hard contact against Sloan in this game. Outside, ball 1. Simon Grigberg batting .404 this season. Takes in there for a strike 1-1. One of many fantastic catchers in the IPL. Just outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Nowhere to put Simon Grigberg. Stephen Whalen on deck, hopeful of an at-bat. Here's the pitch inside, 3-1. Zach Sloan struggling to find the strike zone with that off-speed pitch. A look in. The 3-1. Swinging a ball hit high in the air. This could get him out of the inning. Carrington is under it, makes the catch about 13 feet in front of the outfield wall. And this game will remain tight. But the Kitchener Panthers get 3 runs in the inning and tie the ball game as against Zach Sloan, who will likely turn things over to the bullpen when we come back. Also a new pitcher into the game for the Kitchener Panthers. We'll have that for you in just a couple minutes. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning from Thomas West and Ryan Eakin. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Dominico Field. We have a tie ball game, 6-6 between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Kitchener Panthers. New pitcher into the game as the Panthers turn to their bullpen in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's Grant Shantz, who has been one of the strong relievers in the Kitchener bullpen, boasting a 2.63 ERA in the 10 games that he's appeared in. And this might be a tough challenge to score against Shantz, although he did give up 3 unearned runs in his last outing. That was just a couple days ago in an 8-6 loss versus the Welland Jackfishes. Here's a bunt attempt by Connor Lewis. It was almost perfect up the third base line, but took a bit of a bad hop at the end and rolled foul.
And Chance is a guy that can give the Panthers multiple innings out of the bullpen. Not 4 or 5 innings, but he's a guy that can definitely give them a couple for sure.
They also have David Bruinsma out there, who's appeared in 11 games and has a 2.70 ERA, but the bullpen isn't much deeper after those two, and we are just in the 5th inning. So trying to run up the pitch count of Grant Shantz might be important for the Maple Leafs. And this relief outing is that one swung on a miss by Connor Lewis. Strike 2. But Connor Lewis and then Greg Carrington's on deck, followed by Luca Boscarino. The 0-2 pitch, way outside, ball 1. Low, 2-2. A couple of breaking balls well outside the strike zone from Chance. Grant Chance pitched 2 innings of scoreless work last time he was here against the Toronto Maple Leafs. That was part of a 16-4 win for Kitchener. Though he's only gone 2 innings once. That was in a 15-14 win against the Barrie Baycats, where he gave up 2 earned runs since that game versus Toronto. Here's the 2-2. Or 3-2 inside, ball 4. And now Connor Lewis to first base, behind in the count, 0-2, and worked it all the way back.
They got back there for the Maple Leafs. He tried to lead off the inning with the bunt down the third baseline and just fouled, but he still ends up at third base many pitches later.
Not a lot of the time when you see a player bunt for a base hit and it's unsuccessful, do you see them eventually reach their end goal, which is getting to first base. But in that case, patience from Connor Lewis. He took one just inside. And now he's on first with no one out. Carrington takes her right down the middle. Strike 1.
Laying down another bunt can't be an awful idea. Third baseman's playing back. It's a left-handed bat up to the plate. It'd be an interesting spot to bunt. Not to just even get the guy over, but to get on base yourself.
Not bunting. It's outside 1-1. No signs coming from third base coach Damon Topley, so you have to assume he's swinging away. And that one's just over the outside corner. Strike 2 now on Carrington. Carrington hits one in the air. This one's to left field. Drifting back as the left fielder, he makes the catch, and Blake Jacklin took a few steps in, then had to go back. And now there's one away for the Leafs in the bottom of the 6th.
For the Leafs, the left fielder, number 2, Luca Boscarino.
Luca Boscarino is 0 for 2 with a strikeout this evening. Runner at first base is Connor Lewis. Pitch is just outside or maybe low. Boscarino has appeared in 13 games for the Maple Leafs this season. Comes from Mississauga, Ontario. A long look in from Chance, and now he delivers a strike right over the outside corner. And the count runs to 2 balls and 1 strike. 3 runs in the top half of the inning for the Kitchener Panthers. That tied the ball game 6-6. And we've been treated to a pretty good back and forth ball game at Dominico Field. It started out with a 2-0 lead for the Kitchener Panthers, but quickly storming back for the Maple Leafs. They scored 5 in the bottom half of the first inning. A run for each team in the second. And now one hammered down the line and foul.
It's a close one.
Some fans had to dodge out of the way on that Luca Boscarino bullet down the left field line.
So please keep your wits about you at all times. The Maple Leafs, again, thank you. And we'd like to remind you to keep heads up here at the ball.
Count runs to 3-2 on Luca Boscarino. Trying to battle through a long bat here from the number 9 spot, and now he hits one in the air. A fly ball to the right side. Jet Jarvis is there. He makes the catch. 2 away.
This is a spot with Venezio coming up to the plate. Perhaps we might want to look at Connor Lewis still in second base here. If he gets thrown out, you have 1, 2, 3 coming up in the next inning. But if he's still second base, you're now basically for taking the lead. So an opportunity here, I think, for the Maple Leafs to send Lewis perhaps as early as the first pitch.
It's taken Grant Shantz 16 pitches so far to get through 3 Toronto Maple Leafs. He has 2 away and a runner on first base. Venezio takes way inside. Ball 1. There has been a little bit of contact against Grant Shantz this season. He's just struck out 6 batters in the 13 2/3 innings. There goes Connor Lewis down to second base, and once again, no throw from Simon Grimberg. And it looked like that was a scenario where he could have thrown.
Because, again, Lewis is a guy with above average speed, but he's definitely not a Venezio or a Boscarino. So Leafs are now a base hit away, as I said, from taking a 7-6 lead.
Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. We have not seen a throw from Simon Grimberg yet to any base in any scenario. Just over the outside corner, Jose Venezio visibly perturbed by that call. Count runs to 2-2.
It's obviously a big difference, up 3-1 the count, or instead 2-2, but still has 1 pitch left, and again, an opportunity to give the Maple Leafs lead once again.
Jose Venezio doesn't care too much about the count. He can put the bat on pretty much any ball that's thrown his direction. Here's the 2-2. Swing at a ball hammered up the middle. Connor Lewis is chugging around third base, and it gets away from the center fielder, so Connor Lewis will score easily, and the Maple Leafs take a 7-6 lead in the bottom of the 6th inning on an RBI single from Jose Venezio.
From a pure ego perspective, there's nothing worse than predicting something on a broadcast and it doesn't happen. But when I said, well, Blues are still second and Venezio can hit a base hit, you take the lead, boy, does that feel good. Leafs lead 7-6.
That was just an interesting scenario with allowing Connor Lewis to head down to second base. It's almost been defensive indifference on all 3 stolen bases that the Toronto Maple Leafs have had in this ball game.
I think you're seeing Venezio go soon.
There's a throw over to first base.
But you also have to think, is the catcher, and again, you don't want to speculate or anything, but is he healthy enough to even throw perhaps the ball to second base or third base, or is it perhaps he's just getting bad reads on the plays or what have you? Because, again, as you said, there's not been 1 real throw down to second or third base in this game.
Let's see. Oh, Jose Venezio faked going. Now he's going to head down to second base casually.
Yeah.
Now that's a really interesting one there, because that was almost a pass ball on the catcher, Simon Grimberg. It barely bounced in the dirt. It looked like he was thinking about getting up and throwing it, because Jose Venezio faked going to second base, and now he's standing on second, because it does end up being what's probably going to be a wild pitch.
To me, if you try throwing that ball down, it might end up in the outfield. Who knows how many more bases Venezio can take after that. So a smart play to let him take the 90 feet.
Looked like there could have been a pickoff play on, but pitcher Grant Shantz didn't read it. Two outs. Batter is Justin Mara, who's 1 for 3 today, and Mara fouls it straight back.
Nice catches by the fans today. Some close calls, but these guys might have tryouts in their future.
They might. And you see all the little kids around the ballpark with their gloves watching the Maple Leafs batters. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few that might be inspired.
Yeah. Future Maple Leafs, future Blue Jays. It all begins at Christie Pitts, as they always say.
Here's the pitch. This one's hammered out to right field, high and deep and gone. A line drive that gets out of here for Justin Mara, and the Maple Leafs open up a 3-run lead. It's 9-6.
We can talk about stealing bases and all this kind of stuff, but that's Maple Leafs baseball, right? I mean, a bomb to right field. None of this Costello going opposite field or, John Salazzo going opposite field. No, left-handed bat in the middle of the Maple Leafs lineup hit an absolute bomb to right field.
So the 2, 3, and 4 hitters have all hit home runs now for the Maple Leafs. This one was a rocket out there to right field. And that's number 6 on the season for Justin Mara. And he's 3 away from the league lead, which stands at 9.
That was a guy that went all of May without hitting a home run, which goes to show when he gets hot, oh boy.
And off a guy that does not give up a lot of runs, let alone home runs, and Grant Shantz.
I can't blame Don Menard. He sent his best reliever out here to face the bomb of the Maple Leafs lineup that would eventually translate into the top, or transition, I should say, to the top of the Maple Leafs lineup, but hasn't been able to get the job done as of right now.
And now you'd have to think this is his last inning of work, as this one's fisted out there to left field, but this one's going to hang up and maybe losing it in the lights or something of the sort was Blake Jacklin.
I like the new sound effects in my music. I like it a lot. I give him a shout out. But you're exactly right, though. That's exactly what it was. I mean, he's backing up. It was going to be a casual fly out, and it was anything. That happens at this ballpark. It happens up at Redhurst at Coach Stadium, Sloan Stadium, whatever the stadium's called up there. It happens there all the time too. And there's something about the lights, I think, more than anything. But especially at this time, it's not pitch black at the same time. It's not sunny out any longer. So that stuff happens, and so happened twice for Jacklin out in left field.
That was that time really a routine fly ball out there to left field. So that's a gift with the runner on first base. And
you have to give it a hit because he didn't touch the baseball at any point. So raise that on-base percentage for Costaldo, because he desperately needs to raise that batting average and on-base percentage.
Right. Now up over 560 in the on-base department. Pitch is way inside. So the pitch count now sitting at about 30 for Grant Shantz.
Number 30
and coming up. He hasn't had luck on his side as well, as he gave up 3 unearned runs against the Welland Jackfish, which ultimately ended up costing them the game, as it was a 2-run win for Welland. And Kitchener, who's still riding a 4-game losing streak and going to their best reliever, could have been out of the inning, now has to face a guy who already has a home run in this game, and John Salazzo. As he takes right down the middle, now it's 3-1.
That's a spot in the Leafs lineup where you almost think, hey, do I give Salazzo the green light 3-0? But with Casca on deck, there's no really need to do that at this point in the ball game here in the 6th inning.
Salazzo's had a really good afternoon as he takes in there strike 2, count runs full 3-2. He's 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs. Pretty close to getting that Penny's player of the game if he keeps this up.
I'm thinking about it.
Swinging a hard ground ball to second base, coming over and making the play is Stephen Whalen. He flips over to first, and that will do it, but not before the Maple Leafs answer the 3 runs that the Kitchener Panthers put up in the top half of the 6th inning with 3 of their own and extend the 3-run lead back to 9-6 from Thomas West and Ryan Eakin at Dominico Field. We'll be right back in a couple minutes for the top of the 7th inning. First pitch is hit up the middle. Here's a long throw to second base. And that's going to go as an infield single off of Sam Green. So the new pitcher into the game, Sam Green, has a 3.24 ERA as he gives up that infield single. Has a whip just over 1, 2 walks, and 8 hits, 7 strikeouts in the 8 1/3 innings that he's pitched for the Maple Leafs.
Big shutdown inning needed for the Maple Leafs. The Panthers tie the game with 3 runs in the top half of the 6th, and the Leafs respond. That's not what the Panthers wanted. The Leafs absolutely need a shutdown inning here so they can get to the back end of their bullpen.
All fouled straight back. So Stephen Whalen hit that ball up the middle, and it actually went off the glove of Green.
This is absolutely Sam Green's inning, I should say, with this bullpen empty for the Maple Leafs right now.
Ball hit down the right field line. That one's going to get down and roll all the way to the wall. Into the corners, Luca Boscareno to pick it up. He gets it in quickly, holds the runner at third base. Now second and third with nobody out. And 2 hits to start things off against Sam Green. Both balls hit pretty hard. Brings up the number 7 hitter, Eric Martin. Martin's 1 for 3 today as an RBI, and he's also scored a run. Swings and misses for strike 1.
And the Leafs infield, rightfully so, playing back. You'd obviously love to have that clean inning I just talked about, but at the same time, you'll take it out for a run, given at this point in the ball game.
Top of the 7th inning. The Maple Leafs have to cover 3 innings with their bullpen. This one's inside. It gets away from the catcher, Justin Mara, but hustling to the plate is Sam Green, and that holds the runner at third base. Last time Sam Green worked was against the Guelph Royals, part of that 13-12 loss to Guelph. That was 2 games ago. Gave up 2 runs over 1 1/3 innings, but struck out 4 batters in that outing. Swing and a miss, strike 2.
Strikeout would be quite handy right now for Sam Green.
Before that, he pitched against the Welland Jackfish as part of a 4-2 win for the Maple Leafs. Pitched 2 scoreless innings, just allowed 1 hit. That's something that's not easy to do against Welland. Here's the 2-strike pitch, swung on and missed. And that's a huge strikeout for Sam Green.
The shortstop, number 58, Tyler Henriquez.
Tyler Henriquez hit a big RBI double his last time up. That was back against Zach Sloan. 1 out, runners on second and third. Henriquez fouls it straight back.
Oof. A lefty up in that Panthers bullpen, which makes sense given the line of lefties the Maple Leafs have in this ball game.
Sam Green could really use a strikeout right now, and man, this is the right guy to do it against in Tyler Henriquez. He's appeared in 12 games this season and struck out 18 times.
And he's obviously has pop, which you would expect for a guy that strikes out that much. If you're going to be in the lineup, you obviously have to substitute the strikeouts for home runs here and there or a ball in the gap. And so he's still a dangerous bat, no question.
Here's the pitch in the dirt, a fantastic block by Justin Mara to keep that runner at third base.
And to me, you don't come in with anything that he might want to hit in this at-bat or in this next pitch here. Try to get him to chase something to go, as you said, to go along with all those strikeouts he's had this season.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Over the outside corner, strike 3 called. 2 strikeouts in a row for Sam Green, who is now 1 batter away from getting out of this second and third, nobody out jam to start the inning.
Back-to-back strikeouts, 2 totally different strikeouts. First strikeout comes in a high-velocity fastball. Second one, a nice curveball that came in right down the plate, but throws the batter.
Backdoor curveball to Henriquez, and there's a swing and a miss. Sam Green's getting a lot of those in the last 2 batters.
It's going to be tough here. If he doesn't get this batter 2 straight lefties, at least coming up for the Panthers right now. So with the right-handed pitcher and Sam Green on the mound.
2 straight lefties, and it would be 1 and 2 in the batting order. Here's the number 9 hitter just inside, 1 and 1.
You can hear from the Leafs dugout. The Leafs dugout definitely wanted that call, but tough to tell up here. That may have been inside.
Sloat 7 for 27 this season with 9 strikeouts in those 27 at-bats. The 1-1. Low and in, ball 2. This is the batter you have to get right here with 2 outs. You don't want to turn things over to Jet Jarvis, who's 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs already today.
And a walk. He's been an on-base machine in this game for the Panthers at the top of their lineup.
A funny swing. Check swing, he goes around. 2 and 2. 1 strike away from putting an exclamation point on this top of the 7th inning, but there still are 2 runners in scoring position.
I go high fastball here if I'm Green.
High fastball. It's hammered past Jose Venezio and gets down. Here comes the runner to the plate. It's going to be a close play, and he got him. What a throw from Luca Boscarino. 1 run comes in to score, but a massive throw to cut the runner down at home plate, and the Toronto Maple Leafs get out of it with just the 1 run scored. It's 9-7 now, Maple Leafs. Over the Kitchener Panthers here at Dominico Field. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning, Thomas West. And Ryan Eakin will be right back. Ada McCaskey will lead things off in this bottom of the 7th inning. Grant Shantz is going to come out for another inning of work, although his pitch count is nearing 40 now. As here's a ball hit in the air by Aiden McCaskey, and that one is a moonshot out there to right center field. Aiden McCaskey, his 3rd home run of the season, and that makes it 10-7 Maple Leafs.
There's been a lot of bombs that Christie pitched this season, but that's absolutely the biggest moonshot of the season, and it comes from Aiden McCaskey. What a season he's had for the Maple Leafs.
And a quick correction as well. That's his 5th home run of the season for McCaskey.
And he knew it the second that left his bat. I mean, who didn't in this ballpark?
And by the way, I guess that still brings him tied with Justin Mara for the RBI lead.
Not bad competition, right? Tied with Costaldo in home runs for 2nd with 5, and he's tied, as you said.
Well, Costaldo's got the home run today, so now he's got 6. There's a lot of races going on, and this really reminds me of last season with Garrett Takamatsu in the home run race with Justin Mara and Marcus Connect.
But Takamatsu was going for the Triple Crown, and we think, oh, it might be someone else from a different team that spoils it. But no, it's his catcher. It's Justin Amara that spoiled the Triple Crown for him. So
yeah, and Sean Riley ended up getting him an average.
Yeah, or Riley made anything that a slow regular season that he may have had. Boy, did he make up for it come playoff time! My goodness.
Holy cow!
And by slow regular season for Sean Riley, I mean he probably batted like 350 or something, but to his standards,
batted 450.
Yeah, maybe 450. Slow regular season. I think he only hit 4 or 5 home runs. So
this season he has brought it down to 360 though. The Guelph Royals.
Yeah, he's starting to slow down now. Yeah. At this pace, he might be batting to 250 come 2030 or something. So.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Coming from the guy that was drafted as a pitcher.
Yeah. And that's what amazed me, just going back to Sunday's game where you saw Claudio Custodial on the mound for Guelph, drafted, or I guess he was signed since he was a Dominican, as a position player by the Yankees, and now he's a pitcher in the IBL. And you saw it with Riley, but the opposite.
Hit on the ground by Dan Mara. Throw over to first base in time. 4 runs allowed by Grant Chance. Pitch count up to 41 for Chance. Connor Lewis comes up with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Every single inning that the Kitchener Panthers have scored in the top half, the Maple Leafs have answered with either the same amount of runs that they've scored or more.
And a manager is always going to say, like, if you want to allow 5 runs in an inning, whatever, like, that happens. That's baseball. But you have to give me a shutdown inning to give my offense an opportunity to get back in the ball game. And the Panthers did. They tied the game at 6. And what did the Leafs do in the bottom half of the 6th inning? They struck for 3 runs to regain that 3-run lead. So, unfortunate for the Panthers in this game, as of right now, anyways.
Connor Lewis skies one to right field, and a relatively easy play for Jet Jarvis, 2 away.
Now batting for the Leafs, the right fielder number 15, Greg Carrington.
And barring a surprise, Sam Green is quite likely to come out to the Maple Leafs mound for the second straight inning, as there's no one up in that Maple Leafs bullpen right now.
Way inside to Greg Carrington, ball 1. Yeah, there is action in the Kitchener bullpen, and now that pitcher warming up looks ready.
And it is a lefty, with lots of lefties coming up after you get through Boscarino in the 9-hole. He's a righty, and Venezio in the leadoff spot, who's a switch hitter.
Here's the pitch from Chance. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. Luca Boscarino waiting on deck. Had a fantastic throw from left field to gun down a runner at home plate to end the inning. And that was big for Sam Green, who end up giving up the run, but had struck out the last 2 batters and really mitigated the damage.
And McCaskey got that run right back, right? So for Green, it's really no difference than, I'm sure, in the pitcher's mind, throwing a clean inning and the Leafs not getting any runs here in the bottom half. So that's the approach I'd take if I were Sam Green.
Grant Chance looked in, and here's the pitch, hit on the ground to second base, and he will get out of it, but not before Aiden McCaskey moonshot for home run number 5 on the season, and the Maple Leafs retake the 3-run lead. It's 10-7 as we head to the top of the 8th inning here at Dominico Field. Thomas West and Ryan Eakin will be right back in the top of the 8th. Back to the top of the order for the Kitchener Panthers, trailing 10-7 against the Maple Leafs. Jet Jarvis will lead things off. He's out there in right field this evening. Jarvis, 2 for 3, 2 RBIs, scored a run, and also walked once.
It goes without saying, but 2, 3, 4 due up for the Panthers if the one guy gets on. It's an important out here for the Maple Leafs to begin this inning.
Blake Jacklin and then Liam Wilson in the number 3 spot. Simon Grinberg come up as well, if one of these batters can get on. And Jet Jarvis is going to do just that as he lofts one into left field. That one gets down. Jarvis is chugging around, but he'll stop right there. He thought about second base and ends up holding his ground at first. Leadoff man on, and just like the last inning that Sam Green works, some hard contact to start things off, but he was able to settle things down after that.
And this is now in a massive at-bat here because you do not want to have the tying run on for Liam Wilson, who's no question the Panthers' best slugger, especially when it comes to needing a home run. So an important out here to say the least.
2 home runs in the last 4 games for Liam Wilson. Blake Jacklin, the batter now, swings and misses. That was a bit of a quick pitch there from Sam Green.
No one up in that Maple Leafs bullpen. They do have a couple of guys, Chris Nagorski, Adam Mora, a few others, but an important inning here for Sam Green.
Green looks in. He's got 1 strike on Blake Jacklin, who takes low, 1-1. Jose Venezio and Dan Mara shaded just up the middle for the Maple Leafs on the infield. Up and a little bit away, 2-1.
I'm a bit surprised that Maple Leafs bullpen is empty. Panthers do have a right-hander throwing now in their bullpen.
Pitch over the outside corner, 2-2. Sam Green has been pretty efficient so far. He's into his 2nd inning of work and is throwing 23 pitches. Efficient considering he has allowed 3 hits over those 2 innings.
It is important to note the Leafs play up in Midhurst on Thursday. They're down in London, I should say, on Friday. So they do have a busy schedule coming up. In fact, I'd say just given the fact that you're traveling up to Barrie on Thursday night, London on Friday, and you come home and face Hamilton on Sunday, that's a busy schedule. The busiest slate of games the Leafs will have all season, given the travel and all that.
Maple Leafs ended a 3-game losing streak against Guelph last time, now trying to go on a streak of their own. This is going to be a tough play down the line, and it's going to fall in front of Luca Boscarino. It'll go as a bloop single, and the first to reach for that scenario that the Leafs said they didn't want to be in was slugger Liam Wilson coming up.
And Chris Nagorski now throwing in the Maple Leafs bullpen with the sweater on, so he's just tossing right now to say the least. But no question, this is exactly the spot the Panthers want to be in. They got the tying run at the plate in the 8th inning, and their best sluggers coming up to the plate.
Liam Wilson was the guy that helped the Kitchener Panthers to their last win, 15-14 over Barrie. He had 6 RBIs in this game, and he has a chance for 1, 2, or 3 here in this at-bat. Really tough situation for Sam Green as well, coming in his 2nd inning of work, facing 1, 2, 3. So far, the first 2 have reached. Here's a check swing. It's going to end up being in the dirt, and both runners will head to 2nd and 3rd. So Sam Green now faced with the exact same opportunity that he had the first inning he worked, except that time he was facing the bottom of the order. This time, it's the 1, 2, 3 bats, and number 4 in Grimberg on deck.
Told you I did it.
One ball, no strikes on Wilson. Here's the pitch, hit on the ground. This is going to score a run, and it gets by Jose Venezio into the outfield. The runner at second will hold, and that's the second error of the game for Jose Venezio. And it will remain 2 on with nobody out.
And now the go-ahead runs come to the plate, and what a tough play for Venezio. That was going to be a tough play to get Wilson at first, but not a ton of speed coming down the first or out of the batter's box. He'll likely get to Wilson. What a costly mistake there by the Maple Leafs, because the Panthers are absolutely cruising right now.
So Will go down to his knee 6. That'll be the 10th error of the season for Jose Venezio at shortstop.
So Salazzo expecting a bunt, perhaps coming from third base, but not quite.
Grimberg swings and misses. I don't think I'm bunting here with Grimberg hitting over 400. Arguably the best hitter in the lineup throughout this IBL season so far.
And his left-handed bat facing a righty that's struggling. Let him swing.
Pitch is inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Kitchener Panthers, it feels like, have another really good opportunity to try and tie this game up with a 3-run deficit coming into the inning. In there, strike 2, a big pitch from Sam Green. Sam Green has not given up more than 2 runs, and there's a swing and a miss, strike 3.
That's twice now he struck a guy out with a nasty curve. He still has 2 massive outs to get, but that's a big start for the Maple Leafs here in the 8th inning.
For Kitchener, the second baseman, number 5, Stephen Whalen.
Stephen Whalen also has a little bit of pop for the Kitchener Panthers, has 3 home runs on the year. One of them came last game versus Welland, and the one before that came against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
What's up?
First one's fouled off, strike 1. 1 away. The double play opportunity is still very much in play.
With 2 straight lefties, I'm a bit surprised Adam Marr is not the one in the ball game, but again, it's one of 3 games in a row for the Maple Leafs and 3 in the next 4 days. So from that point, quite understandable why you want to get 2 innings here from Sam Green. As Chris Nagorski is up in that Maple Leafs bullpen.
Damon Topley gambling that Sam Green will once again have a resurgence to finish out the inning. Time is called with an 0-2 count against Stephen Whalen.
Whalen with 3 home runs on this season. He knows he wants one right now, no question.
That would make it 11-10. And what's been a barn burner of a game so far, as Justin Mara comes out to talk with Jose Venezio and pitcher Sam Green. Although Green has gave up some contact and a couple runs. Man, he's been throwing strikes.
He's been throwing strikes, yeah.
24 strikes, 9 balls.
Except there.
Inside, the ball gets away from Justin Mara. He doesn't know where he is.
They're going to say this hit something. They're going to send these runners back. Oh, they're going to talk to it first as an umpire group, which is surprising given the runners are still in motion.
So I think they might be talking about whether or not this hit the batter.
Yeah, and they said he does.
Yep.
Wow.
No reaction from Stephen Whalen on the hit by pitch, although he will head down to first base. So now the bases are loaded with 1 out.
Now for Kitchener, the third baseman, number 83, Kenny DiClemente.
Kenny DiClemente comes up. DiClemente hitting 6 this afternoon, 1 for 4 with a run scored and a strikeout. Pitch is outside. Kenny DiClemente has struck out 6 times in 31 at-bats this season.
And a ball on the ground is going to be quite tough to turn to.
Up and away.
Not the time to be losing the strike zone for Sam Green.
2-0. Clemente hitting .290 this season, 9 for 31. 2 RBIs. He has a chance to double that with a single here as he fouls it straight back. A good pitch by Sam Green to get back in the strike zone.
Who's 25 warming up for us? Not in the roster.
I was wondering, I think it's Nagorski.
Two is fisted out to left field. That one's going to fall for a base hit. And this is going to tie the ball game 10-10. And 2 RBIs for Kenny Clemente. And once again, 3 runs in an inning to answer for the Kitchener Panthers. And we're tied.
Now batting for Kitchener, the center fielder, number 80, Eric Martin.
Well, that is a huge at-bat there from Kenny Clemente, and this will signal a pitching change, and we will have that for you in just a couple of minutes. 10-10 between the Toronto Maple Leafs and Kitchener Panthers at Dominico Field.
For Kitchener, the center fielder, number 80, Eric Martin.
Eric Martin comes to the plate. New pitcher into the game in this top of the 8th inning, Chris Nagorski. And he inherits a runner on second and first with just 1 away. Nagorski delivers just outside, ball 1. Here's the ball hammered in the air to left field. This one's back and gone over the outfield wall in left field. A 3-run home run. And now the Kitchener Panthers have opened up their biggest lead of the ball game as Eric Martin sends one way deep and gone. And what a turn of events here at Dominico Field.
a 6-run inning. They always say there's no lead safe at Christie Pitts, and no question that's the case here. The Panthers, you give them life. They shown in this game. 6th inning, they had a big 6th inning with 3 runs, but a massive 8th inning here for the Panthers.
Eric Martin came in with just 2 at-bats this season. And now he's ended up having a massive game. 4 RBIs with that 3-run home run, 2 for 5 on the evening. And the Maple Leafs now have some work to do as they've given up a 6th spot in the 8th.
Now batting for Kitchener, the shortstop, number 58, Tyler Enriquez.
In 3 of the last 4 games for the Kitchener Panthers, they've ended up giving more than 10 runs, and now they've delivered that in the opposite direction, putting 13 up on the Maple Leafs here tonight.
And if you're Nagorski, you just need to get these last 2 outs, right? The Panthers have come back from being down 3 runs multiple times in this ball game. Leafs still have 6 outs to go, so you don't want to allow this lead to extend for the Panthers.
Outside, and a late strike call. 3-1. Tyler Henriquez is the batter. Also has pretty good pop. And now he's hit with the pitch, and it didn't matter. It would have been ball 4 anyway. Nagorski having a little bit of command issues here coming into this ball game and giving up a home run to the first batter he faced. Brings up the number 9 hitter, Drayden Sloat. It was 1 for 4 this evening. Every batter in the Kitchener Panthers lineup has recorded at least 1 hit, with highlights from Jet Jarvis, who has 3, as well as Stephen Whalen. And how about the 4 RBIs from Eric Martin? $16 hits, 13 runs on 16 hits so far for Kitchener, 10 runs on 11 hits for the Maple Leafs.
Great
There
jump.
goes the runner, and he got a fantastic jump, no throw down. And that is significant as well, as that takes away the double play opportunity, and you can see how you'd lose track of a runner there with the situation and a little bit of command issues for Nagorski. He had him timed up perfectly. The pitch to Sloat. In there. Strike 2. Chris Nagorski came into this outing in 10 games with a 8.10 ERA. Here's a ground ball to second base. Dan Mara gloves it on a couple of hops, throws on to first, 2 away. Dan Mara caught that ball in the in-between hop, but was able to stick with it and fired over to Jordan Costello at first base, and the runner does move to third base. That's Tyler Henriquez.
Yeah, it's a big runner at third base. It goes without saying, but you want to keep this game within striking distance. And if you can get this batter out, that absolutely keeps it within striking distance for the Leafs.
Nagorski delivers strike 1. Batters Jet Jarvis has had a fantastic evening. 3 for 4, 2 RBIs, a walk, and scored twice. Up that batting average to 340 now. Nagorski looks in, trying to limit the damage in this 6-run inning. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. That's strike 3, but not before the Kitchener Panthers put up 7 in the top of the 7th inning. And now the Toronto Maple Leafs have some work to do going to the bottom of the 8th. From Thomas West and Ryan Heatkin here at Dominico Field, we'll be right back.
Boscarino.
So the Toronto Maple Leafs have work to do, now trailing 13-10 to the Kitchener Panthers. There's a new pitcher in the game for the Kitchener Panthers, and we are working as hard as we can to figure out who that is.
Yep. Sometimes a team has a guy on a roster with a different number, and it throws his first spin.
Luca Boscarino is the batter. He's 0 for 3 today. The only Maple Leaf other than Dan Mara doesn't have a hit yet. Still 2 innings to play. Boscarino hammers one, and there's that hit right there. A leadoff single ripped into left field. And he's aboard with nobody out, and that's a good start for the Maple Leafs.
Just to confirm, they have no pitcher with the number that is on the roster, whether it be on Holy Streak or on the official sheet. So we can only do what we can do up here in the media tent.
The only thing we know is he's number 3.
And he did throw a pitch, making him an official pitcher.
We'll tell you the things we do know. We know that Jose Venezio is at the plate with a runner at first base, and then it will be Justin Mara, who ripped a home run in his last at-bat. Jose Venezio had a 2 RBI single last time up. And he's going to rip one into left field, and just over the head of the left fielder. It's going to go all the way to the wall. They're going to hold up Boscarino at second base, and that's a double for Jose Venezio.
Yeah, Damon Topley, the third base coach, manager, DH, GM, he was spinning his hand, having his hands going to tell Boscarino to come home, but that was only last for a solid half a second, because with Justin Mara up, Jordan Costello to follow, why run into it out with nobody out?
Thank you for God catching coach as well.
And sometimes first base and catcher. So there you go. My apologies to David.
So this new pitcher into the game has allowed 2 extremely hard hit balls to start things off, and all of a sudden the tying run is at the plate, and there's one way outside, ball 1.
No, lead is safe.
No action in the Maple Leafs bullpen as well, which would suggest that they'll go back to Chris Nagorski, who only threw 13 pitches, although one of those pitches was hit out for a 3-run home run, and that's where the bulk of the damage was done in that 8th inning. Way outside, ball 2.
Now up in the bullpen for Kitchener, number 17, Christian Hoff.
So we know who is up in the bullpen. We just don't know who's on the mound, so there you have it, guys.
First 2 have reached, and now one popped up, but it's going to get out of play.
Thought for a solid half second that ball was coming towards us, but
Yeah,
we're safe for right now.
we do have a tent over our heads, so I think we'd be okay. 2 balls, 1 strike on Justin Mara. Here's the pitch. Over the outside corner, strike 2.
That is twice now in this at-bat that the catcher has not properly thrown the ball back to the first base, or the pitcher, excuse me.
Which is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, given he has not thrown a guy out, even attempted to throw a guy out in this game. I'm not sure if he's got a bullet back there or not in this ball game.
The 2-2 is a little tapper in front of the mound. The runners are going to have to hold. Throw on to first is right on the money. 1 away. And that's a big pitch from the new man on the mound, as now there's 1 away with runners on second and third.
What do you think about that? A base hit, a double, counts 2-1 or more. He grounds up to the pitcher. That's a tough one, but the good news for the Maple Leafs is they have one of the best hitters in the league coming up to the plate for them right now.
Jordan Costaldo is the batter. If you need a base hit, he's probably the guy. The Maple Leafs could really use that right now. Base hit might score 2. It probably would with the speed of Jose Venezio out there at second base. And the first pitch was outside for ball 1. Here's the pitch, and this one's lined into the outfield, falling and diving to make another incredible catch. Out there is Jet Jarvis, but the runner will tag and come in to score. So it's now 13-11. But that was the second incredible diving catch that we have seen Jet Jarvis make. And if he missed that ball,
man,
who knows where that would have ended up.
Was at least a one-run ball game. Venezio breezes home from second base, and then he bring up the go-ahead run with Salazzo, but an unfortunate play there for the Maple Leafs, but they still have the time to run the plate for John Salazzo, who's gone deep in this ball game once.
And other than that little tapper to the mound by Justin Mara, those are 3 balls in this inning that have been absolutely laced off the new pitcher in the game from the Kitchener Panthers. Here's Salazzo. Takes inside, ball 1.
If you're Salazzo, in my opinion,
and this throw is going to get away, and Grinberg once again.
It was only a matter of time, quite frankly.
Can't get it back to the pitcher. Jose Venezio moves up to third base.
It has been an adventure behind the plate for the Panthers in this ball game.
There's got to be something wrong with the arm of Simon Grinberg.
No question.
But a good job by the Kitchener Panthers at not disclosing that for the whole game.
Yeah.
But I think it might be out in the open now.
Yeah, no question.
The runner just 90 feet away, and it's way outside. And Grinberg throws it away, and he's coming home.
I have never seen this.
The Maple Leafs are within 1. Jose Venezio didn't even need to use the speed on that one, as Grinberg, for the 4th time in the inning, can't get the ball back to the pitcher, and it's 13-12.
He's not even joking. He obviously has the yips, right? I mean, this is unbelievable. I've never seen this. And you have to wonder, even for as bad as great as it's been, you might have to take him out of the ball game, especially he's given us now a one-run ball game.
You look at the throw mechanics on getting it back to the pitcher, and I'm just starting to watch that now. He's just dropping the elbow and trying to heave it over to first base.
Yeah, he can't throw. You can't keep him in the ball game. He cannot, and the fans are now all over him. I think they're going to say something here. Don Bernard, I think, is telling them to come closer in between throws because right now he cannot throw a baseball.
Imagine if the Maple Leafs had known this was the case at the beginning of the game.
It's been the case the entire game. He has not thrown down once.
Inside, let's see if he can get it back.
To me, this is now a triple because he can't throw the baseball.
Unless this is some kind of extremely elaborate ploy, John Salazzo's got to steal 2 bases.
That is an all-time ploy. And Don Bernard's coming out here. I wonder if they put anyone behind the plate because this is like John Lester throwing to first base. Like
they know now.
He can't do it. Yeah.
Just like John Lester throwing to first. Except it's the catcher.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't just like toss your glove back to the mound because you can't. And this has to be a helpless feeling for Don Bernard and the Panthers because they have a catcher that can't throw a baseball.
The thing that I wonder about having Grinberg behind the plate there's some worry injury-wise what this means.
I mean, he's an important piece. Now, again, he's not throwing the baseball with any effort, so obviously I don't think he can injure himself further, but if I'm Salazzo, you have to. No, mind if Salazzo gets thrown out. If he gets gunned out, then I'm giving up the idea of broadcasting this game because predicting things would be, not even an option. So I think if you're Salazzo, you absolutely have to take second base on this play.
Aiden McCaskey is the batter. Let's see if John Salazzo goes. Salazzo not going, pitches way outside, and you have to feel as well for our mystery man on the mound here.
And by the way, you can see now the pitcher, whoever the mystery pitcher may be, he's coming way closer to the bump or off the bump to catch the baseball for the catcher.
Salazzo at first base. Aiden McCaskey. There goes John Salazzo. A throw down to second. It's a pretty good one, but it's late.
I don't know what's happening.
That was a pretty good throw down to second base, but John Salazzo luckily is safe. And there's no other scenario where I think John Salazzo would have gone.
That was a great throw. I don't know what's happening.
So Salazzo at second in scoring position. Goes as a stolen base. And he's staying right there. I'm wondering. Was that enough to prove not to go to third?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But at the same time, they gave up a run on a bad throw. So also, this is not a decoy. There was something going on with the catcher, but he was able to muster up a great throw to second base. Was not able to get Salazzo. Still, there
goes Sean Salazzo, and they've got him picked off. Throw down to third base, and that is a very, very costly base running mistake by the Toronto Maple Leafs. They had the runner in scoring position with Aiden McCaskey, but now trail by 1. Oh boy, coming to the bottom, or I guess the top half of the ninth inning here from Dominico Field. The Maple Leafs need a shutdown inning. They trail by a run. Well, it's been a crazy game here at Christie Pitts. Chris Nagorski is going to come out for his second inning of work, and with the inability of Simon Grinberg to throw the baseball behind the plate, it's only heightened how important it is for the Maple Leafs to get out of this inning with just the 1-run lead for the Kitchener Panthers. First pitch is outside, ball 1. Pitch is over the outside corner, 1-1. Blake Jacklin is the batter. 2 for 4 tonight. Now batting .342 on the season. Outside 2-1. Score is 13-12. Kitchener Panthers, 13 runs on 16 hits. The Maple Leafs, 12 runs on 13 hits. A couple of errors apiece for both teams as well. Pitch up and away, 3-1.
Nagorski, not typically a guy that has control issues, but down 3-1. Had some trouble last inning. Boy, did the Leafs need a shutdown inning right now here in the ninth inning.
Nagorski delivers a strike, 3-1. That was a big pitch here.
It's high, too.
I almost wonder if there's anyone. We'll wait till after this pitch. Here's the 3-2 fouled straight back. You almost wonder if there's anyone in that Kitchener Panthers dugout that can play catcher it.
I get it. And I guess if the guy doesn't get on, it's not an issue because he still have his play calling ability and all that. But, man, that was quite something last inning. There was I've never seen that, ever.
And you want his bat in the lineup, obviously, too. The bat hasn't seem to be an issue for Grinberg. I mean, he's 1 for 5 with a ringing single off the wall that if he got under a little bit, most certainly would have gone out here at Christie Pitts. Nagorski looks in. Big 3-2 pitch hit on the ground. Right back to the pitcher, Nagorski. It goes off. Mara might still have a play. Not in time at first base. It was close, but it looked like the runner was safe coming down the line.
In fact, I didn't even think it was needed for like a dramatic save call on that one. I thought he was safe on that one, but we still got the dramatic save call. I won't complain.
I don't know how you couldn't do a dramatic call in a game like this. Liam Wilson, the 3-hitter. This is really the heart of the order. Grinberg is on deck. The Kitchener Panthers know the urgency of trying to get another run here.
Oh, they don't want to head into this game with it being 1 run in the bottom of the 9th inning. They want to add on here for sure.
The pitch is thrown, but time was called by the batter, Liam Wilson.
And nobody is up in that Maple Leafs bullpen, so Nagorski will take this one home for the Maple Leafs.
Nagorski to Wilson. Hit on the ground. Here's the double play ball. Venezio goes to second, on to first. Not in time. It's bounced to first. Mara had to get it out of the glove on the throw from Jose Venezio.
You'll take that.
Get the lead runner.
Yeah, and you'll take it. I mean, you take off the guy that's the speediest of the two. You get him out. And now it brings up Grinberg here, who's going to look to do something with his bat, given his defensive issues, to say the least, in this ball game.
Came into this game hitting .407. Incredible numbers.
There's no question what you can do with the bat. And I'm sure there's no question. I mean, this is my first time seeing him live catching. I'm sure there's not an issue with his ability to catch a game on a regular basis, but I mean, I'm sure there's definitely not, in fact. But this is quite something tonight.
Nagorski looks in, trying to get Grinberg. Pitch is just outside. 1 away in the inning, runner on first base. Now runner is Liam Wilson on that fielder's choice. And there goes the runner. Mara's thrown out to second base, not in time. There was a hesitation in the middle of that run down to second, but the throw was still not in time.
I don't think Mara knew that Wilson was running, because otherwise he has him out by a mile, but he wasn't even thinking about it until it was way too late.
I don't see why Wilson would stop.
Yeah.
He was 3/4 of the way to second base and thought about going back.
No man's land.
Or maybe he realized that there was no throw, and that's why he started holding up. There have been some bizarre things going on in this baseball game
It's
today.
an understatement. The game now closes in on 3 hours, which is not surprising given the score of the game and the events that have taken place in this one.
Simon Grinberg hasn't got an RBI in his last 3 games. He's got a chance to break that streak over there at second base. Liam Wilson's the runner. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed, and the ball gets away, and they're going to say it was a foul tip by the batter.
And Nagorski's going to be saying, I did all that running for absolutely nothing. This guy's running all over the place as Mara can't locate the baseball.
After coming into his second inning of work.
Well, you know what? You're going to say, no, it's not. So then, in which case, I'm not sure why there was time called.
So the runner will advance to third base. And it's 2-2. So I guess we had the count wrong, I guess, as well on that.
I have no idea why the home plate umpire calls time in that spot. The count is 2-2. And the Leafs infield obviously comes in down by
way in. Jose Venezio is almost level with the pitcher on the grass.
There it is.
Curveball, strike 3 called from Chris Nagorski. And there's 2 away.
Now batting for Kitchener, the second baseman at number 5, Stephen Whalen.
Brings up Stephen Whalen, runner on third base. Any kind of a hit would cash him in. Huge batter to get out here for Chris Nagorski. He delivers in there, strike one.
And you can say, oh, pitch around Raylan, and maybe the lineup is easier after that. But T. Clemente and Martin are up next, and they've been just as big tonight as anyone else has been in this Panthers lineup.
Kenny DiClemente delivered an RBI, 2 RBI single his last time up. That's what made the game 13-10.
This Panthers team can hit. There is no question about that.
Oh, correction. That's what made it 10-10, the 3-run home run.
Yes.
At 13-10. Here's a high chopper. This could be a tough
one.
play for Mara. Takes a horrible bounce and goes to the outfield. That ball took a 90-degree turn in front of Dan Mara, and Chris Nagorski comes over and says, that wasn't your fault.
That's Christy Pitts. That's a Christy Pitts bounce, they call it. There is no question about that. It was going to be a tough play for Mara no matter what, but that bounce, I mean, there is not anything anyone can do about that.
And now let's see what happens if the Leafs can get a run in the bottom of the inning. It's now 14-12, as that'll go as a finicky single. And then it brings up Kenny DiClemente, who had the aforementioned RBI single in his last at-bat. Stephen Whalen over there at first base now has put together a pretty good night. He's now 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs, including a strikeout. Pitch to DiClemente's side. 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 RBIs for Kenny DiClemente, who's up that batting average over 300. He's 306 on the season now. Pitch from Nagorski in there for a strike. 1-1. That was the 18th hit of the ball game for the Panthers. The 1-1. Just outside, ball 2. And believe it or not, although the Kitchener Panthers have scored 14 runs, you'd think, oh, well, there was probably a lot of walks in there.
Yeah.
The Maple Leafs pitching staff has walked 3 batters. There goes the runner. Throw down to second base.
Got him.
In time to get him. Another runner thrown out by Justin Mara. And he helps out Chris Nagorski. And now the Maple Leafs trailing by 2. We'll see what they can do in the bottom of the 9th at Christie Pitts from Thomas West and Ryan Eakin at Dominico Field. The Toronto Maple Leafs have some work to do with one final frame to go.
The designated hitter, number 37, Aiden McCaskey.
Aiden McCaskey will lead things off in the bottom of the ninth in what's been a wild one, but the Maple Leafs trailing by 2. And a new pitcher in the game to try and close this thing out is Christian Hauck, who is getting a very rare relief appearance for the Kitchener Panthers as he spends most of his time starting games this season. Pitches inside. Christian Hauck hasn't had a ton of success in his starts recently. Last one against the Barrie Baycats, part of a 15-2 loss, as that one's up and away. Gave up 8 runs, all of them earned, 11 hits, and 2 3/3. And then before that against Hamilton, gave up all 5 runs in a 5-1 loss. That was over 5 2/3, but he gave up 9 hits in that outing. Pitch is low.
Safe to say that you're making him throw a strike, if not 2, in this at-bat.
So a 3-0 count, and Hauck has only allowed 9 walks in 26 1/3 innings pitched this season. And that one's over the outside corner for a strike, 3-1. Aiden McCaskey could be taking again there to see if Christian Hauck can.
I'd love to see if he can pitch it like on a 3-1 count.
Inside, ball 4. There's the 10th walk of the season. And now this becomes interesting because remember, Grinberg is still the catcher behind the plate, and we have no indication that he can throw a baseball.
So I would run just because you want to get out of the double play.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think there's any chance. Oh, we did see it, though. This is the thing. We did see it in the last inning. He did almost throw Salazzo at second base, so maybe he can pony up one last big throw. We'll see.
Well, Salazzo ran into an out at third base with the pitcher throwing over. And he did make a good throw down at second base. Let's see what happens. Not going on the first one. They're going to elect to bunt. Mara gets it down. It's a pretty good one. Throw over to first base is in time. The runner goes up to second base, and now there's 1 out, and the tying run is still at the plate.
Yeah, and obviously not bunting in that spot to advance the runner. You're bunting to get on base, but it's just unfortunate the ball did die and then continue down the third base line.
Connor Lewis comes up. The Maple Leafs down to their final 2 outs. Lewis representing the tying run. He's the one that matters right now.
You do have a lefty in Greg Harrington. He's hit the ball hard tonight on deck.
Pitch is over the outside corner, strike 1. If Connor Lewis was able to get on base, that's when it becomes interesting.
And you see once again Hauck coming way off the bump to catch any ball that comes his way from Grinberg.
With the runner at second base in a game where the Maple Leafs are trailing by 2, I don't think Kitchener really cares about that run at second.
No.
Pitch is way outside.
I still think you want the pitcher to be in the habit in case a tying run does come to the plate, that this is not a typical catcher to the pitcher throw.
Pitchers a lot of the time are getting the habit of timing and mechanics, and you wonder if that throws that off at all, having to.
It doesn't help that those guys down the third baseline are making some noise.
That would be the Bushmen here at Dominico Field.
This is as loud as the ballpark has been all season.
Time is called.
And it paid off.
Christian Hauck trying to close things out here against the Maple Leafs. A 1-1 count against Connor Lewis, who represents the tying run.
This is as loud as you'll hear any ballpark for a regular season game. It's quite something right now.
Aiden McCaskey at second, pitch is up and away. The fans love it.
A lot of players will say they'd rather be in a stadium of 20,000, 40,000, 50,000 people, and it's all like white noise.
Yeah.
But there's nothing white noise about the noise right now here at Christie Pitts. The angry confines of Christie Pitts.
2-1 to Connor Lewis. Ripped to second base, but that's going to be a can of corn, a throw over to first. And Connor Lewis is retired, and now the Maple Leafs are down to their final out.
And you have to think Greg Carrington. I mean, if Greg Carrington gets on base with even a base hit, he can easily steal second. He can be representing the tie and run with Boscarino up. But you still have to think he might be swinging for the fences in this at bat.
Greg Carrington does have some pop. Let's see what he does. Luca Boscarino is on deck. Carrington hitting .263 coming to this ball game. Fouls it straight back. That was a big cut. Greg Carrington has a 4-game hit streak that he extended to a 5-game hit streak tonight. Last home run was on May 29th against the Welland Jackfish. All in the dirt.
Please, everybody clap your hands. Come on, y'all.
Greg Carrington ended up scoring the winning run against the Guelph Royals in that 4-3 walk-off win. He's hoping to be in a similar scenario here tonight. The pitch over the inside corner is in there for a strike. Now the count is 1-2 on the Leafs lefty. Christian Houck making a rare relief appearance, trying to hold on to this 2-run lead for the Kitchener Panthers. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Inside, 2-2.
You can't blame him for going inside, given the fact that last pitch was well inside and still called a strike. So, great pitch by Hawk, or at least a great idea by Hawk for sure.
Six strikes and 8 balls thrown so far for Christian Hawk. Aiden McCaskey's at third base, but he only brings them within 1. Carrington fouls it off. Boscarino on deck, hopeful of an at-bat, and then it would go to the top of the order.
I'm sure you're looking at the Panthers' schedule. They would love to have Hawk pitch their next game, but if that pitch kind of gets up there, you have to think, man, and these are not just look at the pitches, they're taxing pitches here in a high leverage spot in the 9th inning. So a tough one, but the Panthers really didn't have any other option in this game.
And 1 strike away from ending the 4-game losing streak. The 2-2 swing and a miss. Strike 3, and the Kitchener Panthers win a wild one here at Christie Pitts, highlighted by a 6-run 8th inning and a whole bunch of interesting stuff that went down in this ball game. At the end of the day, it falls to a 14-12 victory, and this one might sting a little bit for the Maple Leafs.
No question about that. I mean, they were up so many times, including late in this ball game. The offense did everything they possibly could do, but the Panthers, and never say die Panthers, came back and won this game in a hostile environment here at Pitts.
So that does it for myself, Thomas West, and Ryan Eakin here at Dominico Field at Christie Pitts. We appreciate you tuning in to Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube.